we are going to start with our session 29 of Python and Data Analytics Internship Program, October 2025. Today, we are going to see about integrating pandas with Matplotlib and Seaborn. In earlier lectures, what we have done is that we have learned about them separately. Okay, like we came to know about pandas, then we studied about Matplotlib, then we studied regarding Seaborn, that how it is built upon Matplotlib with advanced, basically built-in functions that that are ready to use. We can incorporate them into our code and start using them. So similarly, we are going to now moving ahead with the things like, okay, these are different sets or three different libraries of Python. Now we are seeing that how they can correlate with each other, how they can work mutually beneficially. Okay, so like now we are focusing for pandas with Matplotlib and Seaborn, how pandas can be integrated with both of these. So we have seen that pandas is basically used for analyzing the data, figuring out the data, cleaning the data, and to make it a structured data that can be represented through the visuals or plots or graphs that we usually do with the help of Matplotlib. But in order to generate those visuals, graph, and what we say, any type of visual representation, before that, the very basic step that you need to follow in data analytics is that you have to make your data representable. And how can you make the data representable? By using pandas, as we have seen earlier. Okay. In today's session, we are going to see the basics basically of this integration part, or how Matplotlib and pandas work together. We will come to the advanced things later on, and but today you might be able to get some idea how they can work with each other, how they are related to each other. They are not separate from each other, they are a part of data analytics. By using them together, then only your final report is going to get prepared. It's not like that you received the data and you started plotting the graph and the visuals using Matplotlib. No, that is usually not done in data analytics, because there will be a lot of noise we basically refer to dirty data that can uh, basically what we call infer with our, or can interfere with our final visualization or final predictions. If you have the dirty data, the data is with you contains noise, you haven't cleaned it, you haven't organized it, then the predictions that you get and the end of, and as the end result of this data analytics or the visuals, their results will be very much different than from the original results, because of the wrong data that they contain. So that data uh, basically makes your visuals uh, useless. You are not able to either derive the insights, and even if you are able to derive the insights, that may not be correct because of that dirty data. So pandas play a very important and the very first step as a role in basically in data analytics. So today we are going to see how to integrate pandas with Matplotlib and Seaborn. So let's see what will be the learning outcomes as we complete this session today. So by the end of this session, you will be basically import and analyze data using pandas. Today, most of the steps you have already done in the previous sessions. We are just going through a revision type of thing, and with the knowledge that how to integrate all those things together. Okay, so you know how to import the data, you know how to analyze the data using pandas, but we will see through it once again in order to basically give you a quick revision. And in tomorrow's session, you will be able to see things in detail. Create plots directly from pandas data frames. Now, earlier what we were doing is that in pandas, we were cleaning the data and seeing that clean data, moving the null values or replacing them with some other values, calculating the mean, median, mode, and average, etc. All that type of things, and also focusing on which column we have to focus. Okay, so in pandas we were doing all sorts of things in order to clean the data and to make it representable to get plotted using the help of Matplotlib. Now what we will be doing is that we will be directly plotting the graph using the pandas. Now you might get confused. Okay, if we are able to plot the graph using pandas, then what is the use of Matplotlib? Why we have gone through it? Why we learn about it? Okay, so the thing is that any visual that you are going to plot, remember this line, any visual that you are going to plot in data analytics comes from Matplotlib library only. And like Seaborn is built upon that library. They are using Matplotlib as the base, and then they have created their own building. Similar thing is with pandas. Panda is using Matplotlib in the background in order to plot the graphs. It doesn't do it explicitly, but here Matplotlib is basically what we can say is that hidden, like in Seaborn. Okay, the thing is that only the syntax changes. Some built-in qualities come up, like in Seaborn we have seen. Similarly, we will see in pandas, but the base is Matplotlib. If you want to control the visualization to the extreme extent, like every customization should be done according to your permission only. No built-in things, no uh, pre-built things or predefined functions. You want to use on your own designs, your own method of thinking, then you will go with the Matplotlib. That is the base. And if you want the quick visualization, you will use Seaborn and pandas. Okay, so Matplotlib gives you a large amount of control over the visualization as compared to pandas and Seaborn. So then we will customize the plots using Matplotlib. The first we will plot them through pandas, and then we will use Matplotlib in order to customize them. Then build statistical visualization using Seaborn. Okay, we are going through all the three things together in today's session. Then combine analysis and plus visualization to get insights. Matlab, we will combine all these results and see what insights we are able to derive from the data. So why combine pandas with visualization? First question should be like this coming in your mind, and I have already addressed it a little bit earlier, that data analysis alone shows numbers. Visualization shows pattern and trends. Sorry, the trend part is get hidden under the image. Uh, so what we will do today is that pandas integrate smoothly with Matplotlib and Seaborn. So Panda is able to work together with Matplotlib and Seaborn, both the libraries. And you know that both the libraries are used for generating the visualizations or the graph that we use in our data analytics part. So agar we will use only the pandas, then we will show the numbers. Okay, like we have seen in the tables that it creates the table, it gives the average, mean, median, mode, whichever information you want to try, but it is in numbers. And numbers are not visually representable. You can read the numbers, you can see the numbers, but when you compare the numbers on one side and visualization on other side, then seeing just the numbers, you will not be able to derive the insights immediately, but you will not be able to see what say what these numbers represent, what these numbers are giving, what the end result is coming from these numbers, or what this data is all about. But as soon as you sees the graph on the other side, you are able to immediately tell, okay, this graph represent this thing by immediately seeing the title. Also, on seeing the visuals, you are able to see that, okay, here the things are getting up, here the things are getting down, means here our sales are getting boosted. In month of January the sales were low, in February and March they get boosted, and then again a sudden drop came in our sales in April and further months. Okay, so just seeing the visualization, you get the immediate idea. You don't have to perform any mathematical functions or any other calculations on the data, or to reorganize it to see which is max, which is mean, which is median. Okay, so you just see the visualization and derive the insights. But the thing is that in order to create that visualization, you need the organized data, means the cleaned data. So here we comes to a point that okay, pandas needs Matplotlib in order to show its result as in the visualization form. And Matplotlib needs the data that is cleaned by pandas in order to create those visualization. So they are interdependent on each other if we see in a broader aspect. So that's why pandas gets integrated smoothly with Matplotlib and Seaborn because they are dependent on each other. This is such kind of ecosystem in which one cannot survive without the other. Without the data provided by the pandas, the Matplotlib will not be able to create the visualization, and without the Matplotlib, we are not able to efficiently utilize the data of the pandas. And the data we are referring to is the data set which we have with us. It may contain a lot of noise, lot of dirty data, but it depends on us how we will clean that data and then use that data. So this combination is ideal for EDA. Where you have now heard a lot about this term EDA. We will be doing this in our further lectures as the final part of this internship program. And this is our end goal, EDA, exploratory data analysis. So there you will be doing from the very first step, that is utilizing the pandas, to the very end step, deriving the insights and generating the report. Okay. So there you will see that, okay, this is how data analytics truly works. These are the steps that are need to be followed. Also in data analytics program, if you see that, okay, there are rules, we have to drop this column and this column and use this column from that set of data set. So there are no such kind of rules. It totally depends what the end user wants, what your client wants. Your client wants the comparison between its product sales from between the months or between the years. Then you have to analyze accordingly. Okay, this thing is required in order to provide this results visualization, and then you are going to use only those things and disregarding all the other. In other visualization, if you think that okay, we need some other columns, then you will be using some other columns. So it totally depends on your logical thinking. There are no such rules that can easily define, okay, this column will be required in every visualization. It is not like that. Okay. So what you have to do is that you have to think through yourself, through your mind only. Okay, if we want the comparison between the sales against the years, then we will be plotting a graph against the year and the number of product get sold in a particular year. Only then we will be able to derive some insights from it. Okay, so these things are to be done by you only. And uh, the in the beginning it feels like how we will be able to basically uh, get to know this column is required for this analysis. The more you practice, the more it will come to you on your own. Okay, so keep practicing using open source data sets that are available over the internet. So this combination is ideal for EDA, exploratory data analysis. Second, reports and presentations that we generate using those visualization as the end goal of this data analytics. Basically, data storytelling is the way how you will present your data to your higher management or to your clients. Means like you give in school and colleges your presentation and explaining the things that the PPT contains. So that is the storytelling. So storytelling basically means like how you are going to make the listeners or your audience understand what this thing is saying, what this data is telling, what this data is predicting the future will be like what. Okay, or in future our sales are getting boosted. Everything, every visualization should be told to the audiences in a form of storytelling. Like in a story, you narrate a story. Okay, okay, from this we have come to this. Now our sales are getting higher up here. Now there is some anomaly occurred here due to which our sales suddenly got dropped. And in order to tackle this problem, we should be focusing on marketing or etc and etc. Okay, so data storytelling, it comes in handy in during data storytelling. And the last step is that it comes uh, is ideal for business decision making. Once you told the story to your audiences, your client or your higher management, then they will come up with some their own suggestions and then take a decision. Okay, this thing or this step is to be needed in order to tackle this problem, or in order to maintain our image, or in order to boost our sales. Anything can be uh, derived from the data. So then those decisions are made upon the visualization that you have created using the data that is present with you. So insight is created when analyze and analyzing the data is done basically. So now these things we have already seen in earlier sessions also. In order to use pandas, you need to import pandas. Then in order to use Matplotlib, you need to import Matplotlib library. In order to use Seaborn, then you have to import Seaborn library. This PD, PLT, and SNS, basically they are standard conventions. We use them as alias to these words. Like instead of writing pandas everywhere, we can write PD. Instead of writing this matplotlib.pyplot everywhere, we can use PLT after we import this as alias. Okay, so these are the shortcuts that are generally followed in the industries. Now you have also seen like how to load and explore the data using pandas in earlier sessions. Okay, we will go through a quick revision through all these things in today's session, and in tomorrow's session you will be learning some new things. So in order to basically read a CSV file, the dataset file that we have with us, we usually use df equal to pd read CSV, then the name of CSV file, and then head is basically used to show you the first number of rows. If you mention in the bracket, okay, 5, head equal to 5, or head in the bracket 5, so it will give you the top 5 rows. And you can see, okay, these columns are present in our data set, and this is the information regarding to them, and we have to utilize this in this session. So the very first step before starting data analytics, okay, is that you should always be focusing on the part that you should understand the data first before cleaning it, before plotting it. Try to understand as much as possible. Try to see, okay, these are the columns, what are their data types. You can use df.info, df.describe in order to get a broader view that what your data actually looks like. And then according to that, you have to do your planning. Okay, this is the thing that I am going to do using this data, or these are the things that can be done upon this data. Okay, so very first step is that give some time in analyzing that data before performing any operations. So pandas help us understand the columns and data types, as I told you right now, detect missing values as we have done in earlier sessions, getting statistical summary quickly, basically the overview of the data, that what data contains. So everything that is related to the cleaning, understanding the data, and making it a organized data in order to use for visualization, pandas does for that for us. Now after that we will be seeing directly importing from pandas. So let's come to first visual code. I have prepared this session 29 CSV file. These are the details that it contains. Now first thing is that we need to import basically our libraries, required libraries in it. Like the first thing is that we need to import pandas. Then we need to import matplotlib dot pyplot as plt. Then import Seaborn as SLS. Okay, you can use this thing whether everything is installed in your program or not. Okay, so we are importing all these libraries. After that, what we have to do is, as I told you, now we have to basically read us this session 29 CSV file that we will be using in today's session. So df, and remember Python is case sensitive, so beware about the indentation of Python. Read CSV session 29. Okay. Now let's see if it is able, our Python program is able to read that CSV file. Now head. Let's run the cell. Okay, so this is how our data looks like. Okay, we have a day column, we have a category column, we have a sales column, we have a marketing spend, how much we are spending on the marketing, and then we have in the end profit. This much is the profit, the net profit that we are getting. Okay, so we will be using this data. Now you have seen how this data looks like. This is a simple file, so you are easily able to see that key, this is how data looks like. But once you have complex files with you, you should use df.info in order to see what columns, which column represent what. Like day is a data type of type object, sales is a data type of int, every other thing is int. Okay, so no null count, they are telling us basically everything. You can refer to previous sessions in order to see how to do this part, basically how to analyze this thing, how to find the missing values, and then getting rid of those things. So now we are going to see this part now. We will be plotting using pandas directly. Okay, so the data that I am using is basically a clean data, and we can directly use pandas for the plotting. Or okay, so pandas has built-in plotting support that uses Matplotlib internally. Okay, so Matplotlib is already incorporated in pandas. Okay, so earlier we were not using pandas directly to build the graph. In order to make you understand what matplotlib stands for, what it does, and so that you can understand that every visualization base is matplotlib library only. Okay, so somewhere this library is used in order to generate the visualizations. So this is the syntax that we use, like we will be using according to our data types. So common pandas plot types are line. You can plot a line graph, bar graph, histogram, box, scatter plot, area plot. Okay, so this is very good for quick and simple visualization. If you want to see, okay, how my data looks like at, at that particular point of time, and then you can use pandas in order to clean more things in the data or to narrow down your data set, and then use Seaborn and Matplotlib for the final visualizations. So let's see how we use pandas. So we, as you can see, we have a sales column here. Okay, we will be plotting our sales using the line graph. So we will use df, then we will use the column name, that is sales, then we will use pplot, and then you will define the kind of graph that you want to plot. After that, we will be giving the title plt.title. Now you can see we have used df.plot for pandas, but in order to generate the title, we are using matplotlib, that is plt. Okay, so we are using both in one example right now only. Sales trend. Just give me a second. I am having a call. Uh, so let's start continue with our lecture. What we were doing is give me a second. Okay, so we have used plt.title and then sales trend, and then we will use plt.x label in order to provide the label for our x-axis. Now we will use plt.y label for sales. On x-axis contains the indexes, and on y-axis basically the sales. So this is what it is representing. Now, as we have used plt.show in order to render our graph in every visualization, so it's a mandatory step, plt.show. Now let's see if we are able to get something or not. Okay, so we are able to let me zoom out a bit. So as you can see, this is our visualization that we have plot using pandas. Okay, so now on x-axis, these are basically the indexes, like you can see in the table here, 0 1 2 3 4, and this y-axis represent our sales. So our sales went from here to here, then the maximum sales that we got are 220. Okay, then they dropped, then again increased, then again started dropping. So we are using pandas in order to create this line graph, but we are using matplotlib functions like plt.title, x label, y label, and then plt.show in order to render this visualization. So what is happening here is that you can easily see that both the things are getting used simultaneously. The pandas and the matplotlib means they are communicating with each other. Matplotlib knows, okay, this title and this label are to be put on this. And why is it happening? Because Matplotlib is basically integrated internally in the pandas. Okay, in simple words, we can say this. So you can see that this is how our visualization will be getting created using Matplotlib and pandas both simultaneously. Remember that pandas uses Matplotlib internally, and we use only this for quick plots with minimal code. Okay, we don't need to write separate codes. Similarly, next slide, let's see what next slide contains. Or let's see one more plot before moving to next slide, so that you will be clear. So mat df.a, and then you can simply use x equal to day. Okay, now we are only using pandas. We are not using matplotlib in this example. So this y equal to sales, s should be capital, then kind equal to bar plt dot title then we are going to give the sales by plt dot show. So let's see. Okay, now we are able to get the bar graph against the days. Okay, so now you can see that earlier what we were doing is in this example we were using plt.x label, y label in order to mark our x-axis and y-axis. Okay, here we have done it in the same thing only, df.plot, then a kind equal to bar. Okay, so you can see that somehow they are working together with themselves for the quick generation of visualization with the less amount of code uh, they can use. Okay, for quick analysis, not heavy styling. This doesn't support very heavy styling. If you want to do some styling in this visualization using pandas, then it might not be a correct way to do it. For that you need to use matplotlib, okay, separately. But in order to understand your data quickly, means for your own understanding, not for basically for professional kind of things, you can simply generate the graph directly through pandas. Okay, without writing loads and loads of heavy lines of code. Okay, so it's for your own use in order to see, okay, this is how my data is moving up and down, this is how my data looks like in a visualization, and these are the things that I need. Okay, so now let's move to the next slide. So now we will be seeing using Seaborn with pandas data frame. Now we were using uh, Matplotlib. Now we will see how to work with uh, basically Seaborn kind of thing. Okay, and before moving that, we can do one more thing. Loading directly from pandas. Okay. Okay. Uh, Let me give you a quick example before moving to the next slide of how to use Matplotlib in order to have more control. I told you na ki it is for quick visualization, but in order to have more control over the styling of your data, then you need to use Matplotlib. So you will be using in like this plt.figure. You know, figure is used for controlling the size of our visualization. Like we will be so big size equal to, let's see, 8,5. Now you can use plt.plot, then df, then day, df, sales, then marker. We can use marker equal to this. Okay. Now plt.title, title, then sales trend. Okay, this will be our title. Then plt.x label. We will be having a plt.y label. Uh, we will be having sales. Then plt.grade. We have seen all these things in our earlier lectures. Plt.show. Let's see, something is coming. Okay. Okay, the grid is coming, the marker is coming basically at the joints. Okay, we have the marker that we have used. So in order to have more control over your data, then you have to use Matplotlib in some this way. Okay, now let's move to our next slide that basically represents using Seaborn. Okay, so Seaborn works directly with pandas data frames like Matplotlib is working basically. And why Seaborn? So that we have cleaner visuals, statistical plots, less code, better defaults. Means by default the plots that are coming should look like, will be looking very good as compared to our earlier plots. Other Seaborn plots like heat map, Boylan plot, count plot, pair plot, these are some things that we have already gone through. So let's see this Seaborn example also. Okay. So for Seaborn, we will be using SNS dot, let's see about bar plot, then X equal to day, then Y equal to sales. Okay. Then comma data equal to DF, then PLT dot title, title average sales by day. Okay. Now let's see PLT dot show. Now you can see that it is using Seaborn capabilities in order to display this graph. Okay. So this is how we can use it. Seaborn automatically calculates average. As you know, we haven't defined any function for average explicitly. Okay. Seaborn is able to do it itself. Now, if you want to see one more plot, like we can see कौन सा? Scatter, then x equal to marketing spend. Okay. Now in here only we will be giving y equal to sales and data equal to df. Then plt dot title marketing spend versus sales. Plt dot show. Now you can see this is the scatter plot for marketing and the sales, like how much amount on marketing is spent and how much sales we get corresponding to that. Okay. So basically shows the relationship between the two numerical columns. So pandas plus seaborn together if we want to use. Okay. Now we will be seeing an example of like let's go to the slide first. What is that? Okay. Combining the visualization. Okay. So typical data analytics workflow is like this: load and clean data using pandas. I told you in the beginning of the lecture only. Explore the data using statistics, then visualize relationships, then compare the variables, and then draw the insights and conclusion. All these things I have already told you in the beginning of the session only. Okay. So now mm, let's see this example then. So we will be doing basically correlation analysis plus heat map. Okay. So you will define a variable, you will store the data under this variable name, like uh, we are having sales, comma, getting spent, then comma, profit. Okay. Then dot cor. This is the function for correlation in Python. Okay. Now we can see how it looks like. Print cor. Okay, this is the correlation that we are basically getting from it. So now we will use SNS dot heat map CORR comma and not equal to CMap equal to it is basically the type of map column, like you have filters in your phone also, na? Now you can see this is how a heat map looks like. Okay, with their correlations. The diagonals are representing 1 1. Okay. So if I can basically tell you is that this is how you can basically use what we call correlation analysis plus heat map. This is how it looks like. And the final polished version, if we want to see an example of it, what example should I? Okay, let's use this set style. This is used to set the style in the Seaborn. So we will be using white grid. Then let's set the figure size also. Fig size equal to 8,5. Then SNS plot line plot. Then x equal to day, y equal to sales, and data equal to t, comma marker equal to this. Then we will be giving a title. So you can see this is our graph using Seaborn basically. So this is how our analysis turned into a presentation ready chart basically, but it is not for quick plotting that we said earlier that we will do quick plotting using pandas. Pandas is for your own understanding, but in order to have professional visualization, you have to use Seaborn or Matplotlib. Okay. So the summaries and key takeaways from this session are as follows: like Pandas is used for data handling and analysis. Matplotlib is used for custom plotting, as we have seen. If you want more control over the visualization, then you have to use your Matplotlib library, not the Pandas for plotting. Then Seaborn is used for statistical and interactive visualization because it has already pre-built functions for the designing and things. You only need to invoke those functions and the things are done automatically. Also, there are some statistical functions like you don't need to calculate the average in the Seaborn, it is done automatically. So Pandas plus Matplotlib plus Seaborn is equal to complete data analytics workflow that I told you. This is the path that data analytics basically follows. Now you can see all things are coming together. The things that you have learned separately earlier, now they are coming together in order to generate a broader view that what actually the data analytics is and what are the things that happen behind the data analytics that everybody doesn't know. So visualization then turns into insights that you derive from the data. For any assignment and for the assignment, you have to basically use any data set that you want, create a bar chart of sales per category using Pandas. Create a scatter plot of marketing spend versus revenue using Seaborn. If you are using any other data set, please feel free to use any other columns to create a scatter plot, not only the spend or revenue. It depends on you. Think from your own side. Okay. But remember these things that you have to create bar chart and a scatter plot, and then you have to add proper titles, labels, and stylings. Okay, then submit those things into this Google Form link. Thank you, and then for support and contact, please connect us here. And thank you for joining today's session.